Cool, the sun. Let me see if we can zoom in on the sun. This is what I call John the Baptist's head on the horizon. You know, as day decreases, night increases. That's the story of John the Baptist and Jesus. As one rise, the other one would decrease. So this is called John the Baptist's head, or Horus on the horizon. That's what that means. It's a beautiful downfall. You see the energies as it resonates off the phone. This is the beginning. I'm gonna keep this one short and brief because it's about the movement. The movement is into evolution of human beings. And so what we're talking about as far as this evolution is the regeneration. This regeneration has been called the great works, alchemy, the philosopher's stone, the elixir, the Holy Spirit. It has many names. And these names has been codified ever since it came out of West Africa. This is something that started in West Africa and it started to build up as far as spreading all over into Europe and South Africa, which then made everybody try to find out what was going on, what is the science, because it was hidden. You know, the primitive people had it from, you know, the first epoch to this, not from the first epoch, from the second epoch, to hope to actually purify was given to us from the gods. And this process of alchemy was left here by the one and only Thoth, Agos Damien. That's what we call him, Agos Damien. This is when actually the word demon wasn't into creation yet. It was actually Demion, which meant your guardian angel. And this guardian angel was actually called Agos Damien. And the Greeks, you could look it up, spelled Aemon, you know, and that's a guardian angel. Later, when the Christian church took over and got church state, they changed it to demon and actually polarized it and made it opposite. So that's where we get it from. But you know, the great works is brought to us through actually Agos Damien that actually brought it as far as human beings evolving. We never finished evolving, and so there's stages to it, and we got caught up into actually vanity and the material part of it, the corporal body. And so this led to us not understanding our full generation and our full evolution. So we cap out like at 21 and think we're fully grown and we know. And being that we're caught up in a Newtonian mechanical system, we believe that we're just supposed to go to school to learn how to be a servant and actually forfeit our right to our regeneration or our own evolution to evolve. And that's what we're here to do, to evolve. So by us understanding this, when we talk in the great works, this is something that was from, like I said, the second epoch when we needed it from Agos Damien to actually take us from animal when we was with the demons or in the primordial period. This is when animals rule, and animals only have an astral body. So we didn't have the mineral body and the ethereal body, the plant body yet, and the minerals being acquired in human anatomy yet. So we was just all animal, which was really the entities, aliens, or whatever you want to call them that you see in modern times now that they storify. But actually it comes from back in the days when human beings first came into, when spirit first ensouled the body, and that was of animals. And in there we had just desires. You know, let's watch John the Baptist's head go down. You know, this is also called From Dusk Till Dawn. This is when all the vampires come out. This is when people start getting into their social relationships and everything. This is like the end of it. We all, what's going on, Mike? Peace and blessings. We all start to change as Horus is on the horizon now. As it goes down, as you see, we get the last of that magnetic field. And it's a different magnetic field from here on. We under the influence of the stars, the magenta spectrum take over, that purple spectrum, and we start the night lessons now. And as the sun goes down, it literally is going up your scrotum, vagina, your sexual organ, and going up your anus, and it's climbing up your back. You have another tree of life, the Sephiroth, upside down on your back. And so it starts the night process of the tree of life, and we go through different lessons with the gods now. This is when we socialize and start getting into, relationship, Facebook, WhatsApp, all these things now, because this is what happens at these hours. And so this is where we get our Dusk Till Dawn movie from, where you see they all locked in that bar, and then at nighttime now, everybody turned from into regular people into vampires, and the vampires is the people, you see. So they're telling you like at the evening time we turn into different things. I have this piece right here too. This is one of my pieces. This is called Dragon Blue. Hey Sybil, how you doing? This is Egyptian dragon blood right here, or dragon blue, because of the Egyptian blue, and it symbolizes the blues for the magnetic field. If you was to look in the magnetic field, this will be the color you will see, a magenta-rich color, and it thins out as it goes along. It's good to see you, Thanks for tuning in. So now, when we was talking, I was letting them know that the knowledge of the great works was brought to us by a demion called Agos Damien, which we equate to Thoth. But back then he was called Agos Damien. He represents our guardian angel. The word demion, spelled Damon. It's D-A-E. You got to put the E in it. D-A-E-M-O-N. You could Google that word and you will see it come up, guardian angel, and it's more of a Greek Roman word. And that's what it was, Gnostic. And then when the Christians took over, they changed that word and made it into something now that's opposite of what it was. So we don't have guardian angels no more. We got demons. And so we have to learn that this still exists. And we follow what's called the great works, because it was what was interpreted not just in all tantric texts and all yoga texts, but all biblical texts, religious texts, philosophy. Everything is, the great works is about you, yourself. Like the Temple of Karnak is built in the shape of a human being, because we possess everything you're seeing outside yourself. You can't really see outside yourself. That's why this is interesting. Because if we look at ourselves, you don't have a hole that you could stick your finger through in your eye. What's going on, Raven? Peace and love. So how do you see? You notice that then you interpret vibratory frequencies, vibrations, colors. This now goes into your neurons and your receptors, which now make your mind give you a holographic image of this reality. But if something was to vibrate at a different frequency, it will change what you're seeing, such as the color or the form of it. And so you got to understand. And in Platonic science, or in the Neoplatonic science, you actually not seeing outside your head. Everything is encased inside yourself. You're seeing everything inside of you. That's why some people see what we call colorblind, or see different things, because you're not seeing nothing outside of you. How you know you're outside of you? You could be in just a bubble, and you share a bubble with other people. So, the Neoplatonists, a lot of philosophers studied that to see what influences vibratory frequencies have on your five senses. And it does play a trick on your mind. And so your mind only interpret what it wants to see, or what it think it is. It's not a fact, you understand? So if you could take your eyeballs out your head and see what you're looking at, you will see totally something different than actually what you think you're seeing. Because remember, you're only looking at electrical signals, because that's all the eye could interpret in vibratory frequencies. So keeping that in mind, you got to understand, we actually fell for this and believed these actual forms, these actual colors, these actual sensations is real, started naming them and becoming acquainted with them instead of actual learning, like I said, from what we were supposed to do. So the great works came into being, and it was to see, like during the primordial period when man was still animal. You could get these in the Lemurian scrolls. That's what it's about, us relieving ourselves of our animal instinct to be what's called human. It also replicates in how you get from Neanderthal to Homo sapien to Homo erectus, and it's all missing a missing link. You get then a idea or a picture of an earth that actually creates quantity, and out the quantity come quality. When the quality reaches its peak, it destroys everything else, and only the quality survive, and the quality repopulate. And then this is where we get our missing links from that we don't understand, because this is an evolutionary process that's called the great works, the regeneration. And so it's your job to try to make it into the quality of life instead of the quantity. It's a bunch being made, but a lot of people fall into their lower desires, or what we call form, or external world. And this is where you fall short at, or this became where you got the gods, you got the demions, you got the elemental spirits all playing on what's called your psychology. And psychology is mythology, and before they created psychology, the word, it was called mythology when the Romans and the Greeks and the Babylonians, the Phoenicians, the Canaanites, and so forth was using it. They would just had a very poetic way of talking. They didn't speak like us. You ever talk to a person from China or, another country? They don't iterate their words like we do. We're too left-minded, so we say it. They will add in like a fable or something to make you catch it in a quicker sense, shorter sentences, but say a lot. So that's how our ancestors talk, but we took it literally and didn't understand it. Science knows the truth, but they're not going to tell you. It's up to you to do the research. But the problem with the research, when it comes to the great works and things like this, not too many books of it was translated from the people who took it out of Egypt, and so it's in a different language. And so quality over quantity, that's why most people settle for the fat girl, not trying to be mean. We settle for a microwave TV than a lifestyle. Well, you something else. Hey, truth is true. Shaman, what's good, Krista? Peace and blessings. Yes, and so with noting that now, our job is to actually bring back the great works, the regeneration, so you could evolve and have magnetic healing. You could actually be in the astral world, in the heaven world, in many worlds, because there's multiple you and you're in the frequency of it. And the thing about it, what's the motive behind it? Is because a lot of people is going to get sick, a lot of people is going to get mental disease, and there's nothing wrong with them. And the God that's on me, we call him Serapis. I take it back, which will incorporate the real story of Jesus, because before there was a J into the alphabet system, which was if you look it up, the 1500, J was added to the alphabet, so nobody could be named Jesus. You understand, until the 1500. And if you take it to the Y, you can see the same thing for the Y and the I. All these letters was not the actual thing. So you're looking at something that date back prior before AD, prior before BC, prior before the flood, that everybody's preserving, and it's not from here. And you see that in the Temple of Serapis. When they lift up the Serapis statue, they found the same symbol, the cross and the whole Christ symbol and everything. That always been around. And we talking Serapis was from like the first dynasty of Egypt. So it was already been around. It's in pygmy science. These is actually stuff that was preserved from Atlantis, and the Atlanteans preserved it from the Lemurians, that actually is about us. It's a story of a soul that could come on to anybody if you actually free up yourself and put yourself in a state of rightness. So we learn spheres. Spheres is Templar science, and how actually you're more of a sphere, and everything is a sphere, and you have to unite your spheres to balance yourself out, plus, catch the games and the gimmicks of your body, plus the star beings that I told you about, and the gods and the demions, which now we go back to what I was saying, the Greeks, they first defined the world that we call soul. It's very for you to understand what the word soul means, because it means psyche in Greek, which is psychology. So when you're talking soul things, you're talking psychological things, psychic thing, psychosomatic states. This is another word for soul thing. Remember, psyche is a Greek word for soul. This is where it comes from. And so it has a profound effect on us, because we are looking for an angel, a being, something to come flying to the sky. and not knowing it's in our psychology that this is created. And Carl Jung, C.J. Jung first recognized it and started making them into archetypes, you know, qualifying them, giving your chakra like Mudaraha, where Leviathan is at, and you actually, your consciousness descends you into it, and you will understand that what's called the Egyptian ritual of initiation. It was afforded to everybody, but it came at the point when your consciousness dropped into your first root chakra and you start bugging out, you start having weird premonitions or just start acting strange. So they would take you to the temple and you will go through the process and come out a healer, a prophet, something unnatural, something paranormal, something that actually you read in these books that we don't believe is real today. But it's happening to us, and the government, all systems, psychiatrists don't want to study Eastern medicine and Kundalini, chakras, all the stuff that will make them understand mental disease and actually help the people to be higher beings, because they use it as a form for the elite to take over us, to control our mind and say, boogie, boogie, this is attacking you, boo, boo, boo. Through religion, we believe there's an evil and there's a good, so there's a Satan. We put these on our consciousness and we create demons in what's called the psyche, the soul. That's a real thing. It's a mental part of your body, but it's not your whole self, your pure consciousness. But when you do leave the flesh and the bone, you still got the psyche to deal with. Your mind is still what's called ethereal energy. And so if you don't clear and purify your mind, like what all the people from the Buddhists to the Tibetan monk try to teach their students first, is that you're going to catch attachments. These attachments is going to hold you to this world as a demon. I'm not telling you nothing that's not true. These is facts. Thank you for this video. I'm recording it in nature. You're welcome, Raven. I appreciate you for appreciating nature, because that's why I try to do it in a natural environment. We all stuck in this urban environment and we don't realize we're natural beings. God made us with natural stuff, and this is what we exchange genetics with. And if you keep up with the Anunnakis and the story of the seraphim, you hear the stories of how Anu and Enki and Enlil and the war between them and Draco and Sirius caused a lot of calamities in the genetic gene pool of humanity, because their places was made out of concrete and metal, and there was no genetic transfer being between the person's cell and actually the environment they was in. They had false environments like in Star Wars. And so that caused us to have a genetic deficiency, which is what we're going through now, being that we're in cities and we have no plants, not real plants, not real you could say cells or just natural things that you could exchange electrons, protons, or neutrons with. Also genetic information, everything exchanged. That's why if you look under a leaf under a microscope, it's the same like the skin on you, because you're actually more solar panels that exchange information through the air, which we call chakras. That's the simplest way to break somebody's bullshit if they ask you, you know what chakra? Just say the air is, because the air is a demion. There's something here that's alive that only a conscious person with anti-matter and antimatter spinning through sun stammering could activate their own, what we call cryptochromes, to make themselves make matter work and see what everything is. This is your job that you're here. That's part of what's called alchemy and the great works, that you have high priests, the monks, what we call people like Jesuit priests. They had these books and studied. There was no person that just naturally knew these things. Everybody passed on these ancient knowledge and these secret books. If you read Clementine homilies, you can hear when Clementine passed the books off, the secret books, to James, who was king back when Jesus was also in existence. But I'm talking the written record king at that time in Jerusalem. You can see that he got his knowledge not from a epiphany, but from these books that they kept a secret in. In the book, he had to do earth, air, fire rituals and go by a river to do oaths. So they're dealing with alchemy, witchcraft, magic. But we don't know that. That's why the priest is higher and he's over everybody, because he knows he go through the whole great works to acquire all his bodies and his astral self, and then he anoints a pharaoh or a king that take orders from him because he's going to pass the energy down to him. It's how God works. This is why it says our people fail for lack of knowledge of God. And so you have yet to know what his system is so you can make it work for you. You don't want to work against him. You want to see how it works so you can use it for your own benefit. And this is what's called going with nature or harmony. You don't want disharmony because disharmony leads to disease. And so in times that we're living in today, and we're in the Aquarian age, you can't repeat what you used to do in the Episcopalian age. You can't repeat what you did yesterday because you're having an alchemical change naturally by just the dimension of the solar system we're in right now. It's actually taking away a chromosome from you, so you're going to have an alchemical change, a different look, a different feeling. Even mentally, you're going to go through a change. And so with this change, you cannot just do the same things you used to do. That's just going to cause a degradation in yourself. You're going to start devolving. But if you now learn or step up or move on, like they say, you can't put old things into new things. Don't bring no new baggage with you and be willing to start all over. Go through your tower moments. A new you is going to be born, the flower of life. This is you opening the lily flower to being the phoenix, starting off the Aquarian age, not knowing who you're going to be, but putting trust in nature, the universe, because they got something aligned for you. They always did. But it was us following our own will that got caught us up in circles upon circles of karma. So Agos Damien came a long time ago, who is Thoth, and if you do the translation, Thoth now in Egypt was THT, which is Tahuti. Tahuti now is actually translated into Hebrew as DVD. DVD became David. So Thoth is the family line of the David line. This is where it's connected. You could go and do the research yourself into this. Scientists know this. Anthropologists know this now. This is a fact. The lettering I'm talking about from Thoth to David is aligned to, from THT, it goes to DVD. You could put it through a conversion, and that's where you get David from. So when we're talking the David family and the King family, you're talking the Thoth bloodline. So now, on that note, which is a spiritual bloodline that I'm telling you is Agos Damien. So how do you get an Agos being that the Greeks have as a being everybody worship to have a physical bloodline here, you know, that is most known in Egypt? Now, why it's important for you to understand this in Egypt is because everybody else across the world went to Egypt to acquire whatever was in Egypt. After they came back from Egypt, they was able more to civilize their people, educate them, greater mathematics. You get your Pythagorean coming up, you get your Plato's, you get your Aristotle's, you get your John Deere's. Everybody went to Egypt and came out of there with something unbelievable, with some type of knowledge. And so you get to realize that where they went to was already the melting pot or the place where that last set of information resided in. Now you got Alexander the Great, who came and destroyed all the something. We can't say what, but we know what it is now. And once he took it, he consolidated into the book on the Library of Alexandria. And this is where all the great people used to come from all over the world. The Muslims, everybody come for information. And this was about alchemy, with now it going into one great book called the Emerald Tablet. He got everybody, Ptolemy period. They consolidated all alchemical work under the the Emerald Tablet. And this Emerald Tablet was equated to Agos Damien, who's Thoth. You understand? So now they left something for everybody in the world to decipher if you had the intelligence and understanding to comprehend what they're telling you with calcination, going through the different thing like the negritos. These processes, denials of things, because the basic concept of the book is, or alchemy is, whatever in nature you isolate to itself, nature is going to grow it faster, at a faster rate, and triple the rate that it would grow, like these trees together. If I was to separate one and put it over there, it would be taller and bigger and stronger than the whole bunch that's together. So people started practicing alchemy in the medieval days, and they brought it back out from Egypt because they started translating all those books that we don't have in English. And that's where the French the Latins, the Germans, and the Brits and the English have a head over us because they got the original translated books from Egypt still in their original language that they never translated to English. So only type of books we got is in the New World was books on mechanism, how to go to work, and speculation books. We don't have nothing important translated as far as from Egypt, Africa, West Africa prior to that. That stood in their country under their language. They don't translate it to English. You have to learn those languages to go see what was taking place prior to what we only know in Western knowledge or Western history, which was many more epochs going on and many more things, and they know more psychology than they're telling us. So with that now in mind, everybody now started translating these books in the medieval period that was called the Great Works. The Great Works involved that you have to actually acquire your soul. You don't have a soul. It teaches you that you have to acquire your soul through deprivation, leaving things alone, not chasing your desires. Because what happened is your soul is part of your desire. It's wrapped into your desire. If you desire something, your soul is going to go get it. This is also what's called bad minding because now you don't know. You're running around and putting your soul on people. Everybody is doing that in this world, but we're not taught magic no more. When you desire something, your soul goes to it. So the first thing that alchemists know of the person who does this now is take back their desires so they have control of their soul, which is called your will. Your will is the only thing that affects matter. So by them doing all this now, the alchemical process of their soul start taking place. You feel this thing called kundalini start activating within your chakra or your spine or your bones, and you start running up your spine and you feel these different sensations. This is now to actually open up your chakras to make you what's called an empath. An empath is the first stage for learning witchcraft, being a witch. The science now of the occult is available to them in their mind, and they will understand it like if it was a newborn child playing with a new toy, because they always was. It's now their angelic self come back, or they're really their demonic self, their Devi. They acquired their demion, which is the parents of them. And so the demion is going to take them up to their angel. Their angel is going to take them up to the seraphim and the dragons. And then they're going to go up to the beast and a whole bunch of in-between gods, just many levels to cross over before you get to pure spirit world, or what we call pure mind, where there's no form to it. You're still in form, you go into a different level. But how it works is, as you grow up in perception, your DNA activates, and it's just a different perception. So you will go from a 4-strand DNA to a 5-strand DNA to a 6-strand DNA. You don't see much change physically, but inside of you, your perception is greater. You're great at solving things. You become what's called the genius. The genius that's associated to the demion or demon, which is, like I said, is the guardian angel because it knows everything. So this is what you acquire first when you start dealing with the great works. But it has a religious overtone because it takes for you to purify yourself. You got to have right thinking. It's like Agos Damien is always here. He's air. That's why they call, the air spirit or the airbender, because he's working with a living being. And so he know you're good, he know you're bad, he know your realness and everything. So for you to do it, they try to teach you through what's called prayer doctrines to purify your mind, your thought, and then automatically this energy come down onto you and you have magnetic healing abilities, the same thing like Jesus or the same thing like any of them sages like the Magi. That's the magician. Matter is 99% empty space, so we should be able to affect this space. Yes, through subtle energy, subtle thought. This is some good info. Yes, Sybil Oracle, thank you very much. The pilgrimage is part of the initiation. Yes, the Holy Grail, Kwara El. Yes, all of this is definitely part of what we call coming in today. This is the ritual where we believe what we want, but none of it is true. Because why? You're in the mind, and the mind actually is whatever you believe. You don't want to see the mind. Put it like this. Let me give you a great example to make everything clear for you. If I tell you to close your eyes and imagine a circle, right? You do that. You close your eyes and you imagine a circle. You put the circle there. Now, if I say close your eyes and don't imagine nothing, Whatever come up there is already in you. Just sit there and don't imagine nothing and watch what start happening. That's it. You're just the observer. Whatever is in you is in you. Observe it. It's the same as confronting it, facing your demons, your shadow side, the black moon. That's all it's about. Meditation. But don't think that you're going to close your eyes and see darkness forever. If you're seeing darkness, if you're not seeing anything, it's because too much is on your mind right now. Relax. You want to get it to where you resonating at the Schumann resonance. Schumann resonance is the 7.8 megahertz. And everybody, once you calm, once you ain't thinking about your kids, once you ain't thinking about your bills, once you ain't even hyper, you just calm. You just start seeing these little wave lines. All this start appearing in your eyes. Whatever you are seeing around here floating by and all this comes in your vision, just like how you see it right here. Once you start seeing this, you're on your way to cracking the code. You're on the way to realize it's your mind that calcifies everything and make you see things the way you see it. 3 behind you changing colors, that's true. My mind is doing laps. Yeah, Sybil, it's a very powerful exercise, but some of us are already higher beings. We're angelic beings, healers, and don't know who we are. So it has a profound effect on some people that actually reminds them who they are. And I do recommend go finding a guru or master teacher to help you to tap in so you could become a magnetic healer too. Because at the end of the day, I'm gonna be honest with you. You could pretend to be a witch. You could pretend to be a wizard. You could pretend to be anything, a god, a demon, whatever you want to be. I don't care. This is the point. You got the ability to heal. That's all. All that other stuff is not real. The purpose of it was to give you the ability to help other people heal from long distance. You see the Egyptians holding up their hands? This is what it does. It heals people. You can heal people. This is what what we call the Masonic healing hand, or what the apostles or the 12 disciples do. I could teach you the science of healing anybody. Egyptians don't have scalpels and cutting devices. We use energy to heal. This is the future. You have to get it back, my friend. Purify yourself so you don't send negative energy to somebody. Purify yourself so you won't have sexual thought when you're going to do these healings. And you will see, over time, you're going to be able to deserve the knowledge to heal. And it's here. It's here. Everybody's here. It's the subtle energy you're seeing. This is it. You're in it. You're in subtle energy. But how come you only see it at night? You see the same thing, whatever you're seeing, flickering, and it's here in the daytime too. This is what you want to see in the daytime with your own eyes, not with it being night and the camera and this. And your camera is more powerful to see these things. Just take your remote control and look through your remote. No, look at your remote control as you press the light for it to hit the TV. If you don't notice, you don't see the light. But if you was to take your cell phone and press the remote and look through your cell phone remote, you will see that infrared light. So your cell phone pick up infrared frequencies, different frequencies you can't see in. So you can see more through your cell phone than you can see through your own eyes. I'm putting you on. But now, you have to focus to be like your cell phone. Your mind could do the same thing the cell phone could do plus 1,000 more. I was just studying and they told me there is no microscope that they could build ever that is as powerful as your eye. Your eye is the most powerfulest microscope in the world, that there's no microscope that could ever be built to compare to it. You understand? And I'm giving you the truth. Test it and go find out for yourself. But you have to be able to push yourself. This is what's called the great works, alchemy, transformation. You got it in you. Follow your intuition. As you can see, darkness is taking me over. My mind been lapsing. They're showing themselves. Yes, Raven, you know what time it is. That's all I want to do, healing hands. I see them. Yes, Crowd. This is the family. As you can see, the black hat man is taking me over. Whose camera do this? Look how my shit come out, man. Look at how these beings love me, man. They love me, and I unite. That's why I tell you, unite with everybody because you're one with everything. You see every little subatomic particle here is you. Don't fight them. Stop fighting. We make fights. The story is in there is that we only fight in human world and then we bring it into the astral world. For the astral world to exist, it has to be in harmony for this world to exist. As this world will fall apart. The actual globe, the sun will be over here, over there. Everybody's in harmony. It's us that's making chaos and trying to bring it over to the astral or fighting good angelic beings even if they look scary to you because movies put that in your head. The Bible put that in your head. But if you was to see a true form, you don't look like that beautiful person you are because there's more to you. There's an angelic side, there's a demonic side, there's a mental plane, there's an astral plane, you're an animal, you're a fish, you're all these things that you have to go back into. That's why I said just close your eyes and relax. All right? I want y'all to get the science, you know. As you can see, this piece is with me. You see how it glows at night? It actually, you know, it's not too much light here, but it makes its own reflectiveness that you can see how it looks. You see how it shines? This is actually symbols that's in your subconscious. These things, you stare at them and they'll open up and remind you or unlock chakras. So you would sit and meditate with these and you see the symbols pop up. These is ancient symbols. You know, like I said, it's over like 25 million years old, I mean. So you will want to see these symbols as you do your meditation or just have it stare down off the sunlight. And it operates like this under very low light. It takes whatever little light is there, make the reflection. So I'm giving you a science of my crystals. And thank y'all for tuning in. I'm right here, you know, and no camera trick as you can see, you know. So tomorrow we'll keep it up. I appreciate it. If you're interested in the crystals, you know, you can hit me up or just stay tuned. They're going to be over in the States soon. I'm going to send a whole bunch. Or you could either have me or you could do personal order. Now, I wanted to make clear too with the crystals and the chains, everyone is a unique one. There's no two. Once you buy it, there's no other one. That's what makes it special, that you're the only one who's going to have that one. I only make one of a kind. And there is no repeat in nature, and I want you to know that too. There's no two in nature. Nothing vibrates at the same frequency. So when it's sold, it's sold, you know, and that's that. But remember, the piece you have, the value that it's worth is priceless because it's only one, and you're the only one with it. Think about that. All right? University of Conscious Science, one love, y'all.